The billionaire was seconds away from signing a $100 million deal when a waitress stood up and leaned in and whispered, "That's the wrong formula." What she did next not only saved his empire, but changed her life forever. Ethan Kross was no ordinary guy. He was a 45-year-old billionaire CEO whose name was synonymous with respect in every boardroom and corner office. He had turned Kross Tea Industries into a worldwide behemoth, controlling markets from alternative energy to revolutionary medications. People liked him, feared him, resented him, but above all, they admired his precision. Ethan never got anything wrong. At least he thought he didn't. That Thursday evening, the Imperial Grand Hotel was buzzing. A ballroom had been rented out as a negotiating room, where Ethan was about to sign the largest deal of his career, a $100 million joint venture with a European biotech firm. The numbers burned, the investors stood at attention, and the air was electric with tension. Ethan cinched his tie, and waiters moved silently from table to table, refilling glasses and placing the last of the hors d'oeuvres plates. He was halfway through his presentation, his eyes keenly fixed on the glimmering display behind him, when a momentary distraction shattered everything. The intruder had on a black apron and was carrying a tray. She was Claire Summers, a waitress double-shifting to cover her student loans. She shouldn't be in this world of money and privilege. Her job was simple: refill, serve, smile, nothing else. But as she walked past Ethan's chair to replenish his bubbly water, her gaze fastened on the formula written on the whiteboard. Her heart jumped. Equations and numbers were second nature to Claire. She had once been a graduate student in biochemistry, with hopes of making significant research contributions. But when her father became seriously ill, she left school to care for her poverty-stricken family. The lab was something of a memory, the diner, her life. But the moment she glanced at Ethan's math, intuition screamed, "Something is wrong." Claire hesitated for a fraction of a moment, torn between silence and courage. Investors in suit trousers around her nodded in appreciation as Ethan guided the process of synthesizing a drug that was projected to cure a rare brain disorder. The recipe was the essence of the deal, and it was wrong. She leaned in close, whispering inches from his ear. "That's the wrong recipe, sir." Ethan halted in mid-sentence. The air in the room grew cool. Everyone's gaze shifted toward the waitress, who had had the nerve to interrupt a billionaire in the middle of a $100 million pitch. Ethan's hard gray eyes pinched into a narrow slant. He gave her a glance, then refocusing on the whiteboard. "Excuse me?" He spoke with the weight of a man who did not respond well to being interrupted. Claire swallowed hard, viewing the enormity of what she'd just done. "The series, you replaced two variables. It will never stabilize. The compound will degrade before replication." There was a strained, nervous laugh that went around the table. One investor snorted. "Are we receiving scientific advice from the waitstaff now?" The Europeans stared at one another in bewilderment. One leaned forward and asked in fractured English, "Is this real?" Ethan's pride blazed. He wanted to throw her out on the spot, protect his ego. But something in Claire's eyes, firm, positive, unshakable, halted him. Despite his better judgment, he recrossed the calculation in his head. And then his stomach dropped. She was right. The error was infinitesimal, a misplaced variable, but in biochemistry, catastrophic. Had the deal gone ahead as signed, the research would have fallen apart within weeks, costing him not just the contract but his reputation too. The room fell silent as Ethan set down his marker. For the first time ever in his career, he looked vulnerable. He turned to Claire. "How do you know this?" Whispers circled the table. Claire rose, tray still clutched in one hand. "I was a biochemistry grad student. I know the sequence. It won't stand." The investors stared at one another, aghast. Ethan said nothing. Then, with a gentle smile that surprised even himself, he turned to the Europeans once again. "Ladies and gentlemen, it seems we've been saved from calamity by someone far shrewder than all of us taken together." Laughter dissipated the tension, but respect was heavy. Ethan read the formula on the board with Claire watching. It all fit. The Europeans collectively let out a sigh of relief. They applauded softly, comforted. The deal was saved, not because of Ethan's brilliance, but because of the waitress with enough guts to hiss the truth. Following the signature, after hands had been shaken and champagne glasses toasted, Ethan strode over to Claire in the corner of the ballroom. She was about to receive the boot. Instead, he extended his hand. "You just saved me tonight. What is your name?" "Claire Summers," she gasped. "Claire," Ethan stated, his voice softer than she expected. "I don't know what life drove you to leave behind, but there is no place for talent like yours in the shadows. Would you like to become a part of Cross-T? Not as a waitress," he smiled, continuing, "but as a member of our research team." She opened her eyes wide, tears brimming. "Are you serious?" "Deadly serious," Ethan warned. "No one who can outsmart me in the face of a $100 million deal deserves to be serving trays." And in that moment, Claire's world was changed forever. The girl who had once lost her dream had it restored to her, all because she had had the audacity to whisper 7 words no one else dared.